Hi everybody, it's Debbie from Reflections on the Dance. I wanted to talk to you guys about the things that have recently gone on. I'm not going to go into depth on anything. I just want to speak to you on the things that have been said. And first of all, I say this from my heart. There has been absolutely nothing underhanded or deceptive going on in regards to this recent project or in regards to anything that I've done in the past nearly 3 years with Reflections on the Dance. I'm not that kind of person, and to be honest with you, when I see deception going on, it bothers me. It bothers me to my core. I get upset. It saddens me because if I were not upset by deception, by hypocrisy, by injustice, I wouldn't even be here doing what I'm doing. So to involve myself in that, it just doesn't make any sense. And the problem comes in that the people that are speaking on this don't have facts. They have no idea what has gone on behind the scenes. They have no idea what this project was about, what the process was. They don't know the facts. They don't know the truth. So, again, when we don't have facts, when we don't have truth, we should not be speaking on that. And it's a shame that's been happening, because it has been. And I think, there's been a lot of vilification and a lot of condemnation of myself, of others, of this project. And, it's been disheartening, because the heart that was in this project, the heart of what the goal of it was completely opposite of what certain groups of fans decided to make it out to be. And, there are many other well-intentioned, as was ours, projects and initiatives out there. And the majority of them are also not approved or sanctioned. But yet ours was singled out in a fairly vicious way. And the problem is that instead of seeing the heart behind it, instead of seeing the purpose, something opposite happened. Certain people took what they wanted to see, or what they wanted to see happen, and then went about their business. There's not a whole lot I can say about that right now, and there's not a whole lot I can say about the actual going into any in-depth on this, and I hope that maybe eventually I can, but right now that's not possible. And, I think that anyone that has been here on this page or been to the website knows that I'm here for a specific reason. I'm here to share truth about Michael and to put truth out there, and that's it. Outside of wanting to help people, that's been my only purpose for doing this all this time. For instance, there are other sites out there who ask for donations to help keep them going. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, many people told me that that's what I should do for Reflections on the Dance. because there are inherent costs in keeping the website going. You have, bandwidth fees and hosting fees, and all manner of costs that contribute to keeping Reflections on the Dance running and online. And I want you all to know that throughout these past nearly 3 years, those costs have come out of my own pocket. They are covered by myself and my husband, and that's it, nobody else. I have never once asked the fans to support Reflections financially. When I created the site, it was always to be nonprofit. And even though asking for donations is not profit, because you're actually using it to cover costs, I felt that this was my way of giving back to Michael. And so I have never asked for anything. And I think a lot of people don't realize that, all of this is coming out of my own pocket. And so if people are out there spreading that I am trying to make money off of Michael Jackson, they're sadly mistaken, because I've never done that. And as far as, there have been some who have said, well, you have an agenda, or you're using this platform for your personal reasons. And, it's like anything. I mean, Michael had a global platform. I mean, he was able to take this celebrity, take this these gifts he was given and use them for good. He went and he helped people. He visited children's hospitals. He visited orphanages. He personally helped and gave of himself, and he used his celebrity status to be able to do that. Whereas many in the business, that's not the case. It's more personal glorification in a lot of cases. But Michael didn't do that. And it's just as if whatever you've been given to do, if you were, for instance, if you work in an office, you have a platform in that office that you work with, in the people that you come in contact with every day. You have a platform in being able to use that for good. And how you treat others, how you treat your coworkers, how you treat your clients, how you do your job. That's all comes across in who you are and what you want to contribute to the world. You do it, if you're a housewife, you have a platform at home, and how you take care of your home, how you take care of your children, your husband. Everybody has a platform to be able to take what they have been given in life and do something positive with it. Reflections on the Dance is no different. My goal here has always been put truth out about Michael and hopefully help to bring about healing and positive, something positive out of all of the negative and sadness that has happened with losing Michael. That's been the goal. And that's it. There's nothing else. There's no other agenda. That's been it. That's been the sole purpose of why I've been here. And so yes, I do post positive things on the page. I do post scripture. I do post uplifting stories. And I try to focus on the positive, because there's so much negative in the world. There's so much negative in regards to Michael Jackson. And my hope is to bring something positive out of all of that, and to help inspire all of us, including myself, to get out there and do positive things. Make a difference in this world. That's what Michael always spoke of. And, something else that he said often was that I will never stop helping and loving people the way Jesus said to. Those are Michael's words. And he lived them. He walked the talk. He did those things. And that's what we're all supposed to be doing, you know? And he was saying it in reference to the fact that he had so many people lying about him, and he was not going to let that stop him from doing the positive that he felt called to do. So it's the same in this situation, you know. Before Reflections, I was a very private person. I still am a private person. But doing this site has kind of put me out more, a little bit more in the public eye as far as the Michael Jackson fan community. So that was a big change for me. I'm not used to that. I'm not used to being, having people know who I am as much as some do. And I have tried to make the best of that. I have tried to use it for positive. I'm not using it for personal gain, because the truth is, this has nothing to do with me. It's always been about God. And this site was something that I felt God called me to do, to help put truth out there. And so it really has nothing to do with me. I'm the conduit through which it's coming, just as Michael was the conduit for the music that came to him, and the dance and the lyrics, just as any writer is the conduit for what comes, you know, what turns a blank page into an article or a book or a script or whatever you know, a writer's working on. It's the same way that any of us are a conduit. You know, we're all given gifts and abilities, and if you use those and you use them for good, you're becoming a conduit for what God is asking you to do. So that's what I'm doing. That's it. And I don't know. I mean, there's been so much vilification and condemnation that came out in regards to this project, myself, other people, and it's not just what I see in the fan community against myself, but what I see happening to a lot of people in the fan community. And I think one of the things that surprised me the most is I know the heart behind what was trying to be done here. And the attacks that came so quickly from it were very disheartening, because, you know, as I've said, there are many others who are good intentioned, just like ourselves, and who have other projects and endeavors out there, other initiatives, and 99% of those are also not sanctioned or approved. Yet, the attacks came at us very, very quickly, and without facts, without knowing the story. But, you know, it's hard sometimes not to feel angry, saddened by what comes at myself, what I see come at other people from fans, mainly because it's so opposite of what Michael spoke of. He spoke of loving one another, caring for one another, and, you know, there's people that constantly post, you know, LOVE, but their actions are HATE. You know, it's you can't preach love and then act opposite that. But as frustrated as I get with that part of things, I always try to go back to refocusing why I'm here, what I'm trying to do, what all of us are trying to do, and how to handle that. And I was reading a devotional last night and came across this Bible verse that I'm going to read to you because I think it's very pertinent to what we're speaking of. And it's in Ephesians 4:32, and it says, "Be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God in Christ forgave you." And I think that's something that we all have to take to heart. And it's something that I remind myself of, in that no matter what anybody says or tries to put forth falsely, is that I need to forgive and move on and pay no mind to it, because the people that are saying things don't have facts. They're mistaken. They have the wrong ideas. And as I've stated so many times before, truth always comes forward. It will come out, and all you can do is be patient for that. I think that, as far as the future of this page, I'm not 100% sure where this is going to go. I do know that I need to spend less time here, and that bothers me because I really do enjoy being able to help where I'm able. But I also have to get some normalcy back, because as I've stated, I haven't had much normalcy in my life for the past close to 3 years. This has been a major change for me in my life, a major change for both my husband and myself. And, considering all that has come against me in trying to do this, it does sometimes get very exhausting to have to go through this. And but as Michael stated, when you try to do something positive, you can't let the negativity stop you. And I believe that. I believe in what he was stating. At the same time, I am running this website, the blogs, this page, all by myself. And it's a lot for one person. All of the time that I've put into this, for instance, just the time and research that has gone into the site, into the things that I bring you guys, the different interviews I've done, which are all very time consuming. And I'm so grateful for the people that have, given me their time to do the interviews with them. And again, as I said, I don't take any of that for granted. I know that, I've been allowed to do that for a reason, to speak with these people, to interview them. And I'm grateful for that. I don't see it as something coming from myself. I see it as something coming from God. That it's a blessing that I've been able to do this in what I was called to do. And that's all. And unfortunately, and I've been told this by others, and I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, can't remember what I've already shared with you and what's in my mind here, but there has been, people have shared with me about jealousy that stems from either the success that the website has had, the number of people on the page, the fact that I've been able to speak with or interview or get to know certain people that knew Michael. And, you know, I guess in some ways I can understand, in other ways I can't. Because none of this is about personal glorification. You know, I don't particularly feel comfortable in a position of many people knowing who I am. You know, as I said, I'm a very private person. But I'm trying to carry out what I feel I was called to do. And that is part of it. But there is nothing, how can I word this? There are blessings in this, in being able to talk to the people I've been able to talk to. On the other hand, this is not an easy road. And there really should be no, there shouldn't be any jealousy in this. And I don't say that for any other reason other than the fact that this is what I'm being told that is being spread around, that people are saying. And I have seen evidence of this. And, you know, if everyone would look at this as to the reason I'm here to share truth. I'm here to try to help bring healing to people that were hurting over Michael's death. I mean, he was a great light in this world, and when he passed, we lost, you know, the world's a little darker. I mean, that's what happens when people who have this amazing light inside of them are no longer here. And so obviously there was a lot of pain and mourning, and there still is in certain people. And I have always been sympathetic to that. And when I have stated in the past, and I still believe this, about moving forward, it doesn't mean forgetting. It means taking what we learned from this experience, taking what we learned from Michael, and moving forward and doing something positive, not concentrating on the negative. So the need for this community to pull themselves away from this magnetic force, trying to pull people back into such negativity and anger and hatred, and remaining in this constant state of turmoil, and trying to constantly create drama where there is none, problems where there aren't any. That needs to stop. You know, we need to love one another. Michael spoke of loving one another all the time. It's a biblical principle. It's a principle in from what I know of other religions, a principle across the board in other faiths. So we need to take that and say, okay, let's do this. Let's make a difference. Let's start loving one another and pull ourselves away from this attraction towards the negative and towards the demeaning, and put ourselves in the light. You know, that's if we all did that, this world would be the kind of world that Michael Jackson spoke of, the kind of world that he wanted to see, the kind of world that he envisioned when he said, grab your neighbor's hand and tell them that you love them. You know, this is the message that he kept putting out there. And yet, as fans of Michael's, there are certain negative aspects to parts of the fan community that want to say love but not act on it. You know, and instead spread a lot of falsehoods. I mean, in the past 2 weeks, I've had my name and my character slandered and you know, defamation of character all over the place. And, you know, all I can do is to say that, yes, sometimes it makes me angry, sometimes it makes me sad, but, you know, I know in my heart I've done nothing wrong. And I'm saying this to you guys from my heart. I'm saying it complete honesty. I've done nothing wrong. My conscience is clear. And they're misinformed. And if they want to continue to spread that kind of anger and hatred, you know, I don't know what to say about that. But what I do know is that I know what God asked me to do, and that's that I need to move forward and to forgive, and that's what I'm going to do. And, you know, as far as the rest of it, you know, everybody's just going to have to be patient. Because what happened here first of all, should never have happened. And it was born out of creating a problem where there wasn't one. And unfortunately, it's going to have a ripple tide effect to a lot of other people trying to do good. Because it's, as I said, it's created a problem where there wasn't one. So, you know, I don't have a whole heck of a lot else to say. I think I've tried to cover everything that I wanted to. And all I can say is that we've got to make that change. We've got to make that change that Michael spoke of. And to keep spreading things that aren't true, to make defamatory remarks, you know, it doesn't just hurt the person that you're trying to defame or trying to slander or trying to, you know, hurt, but it hurts you. It hurts all of the community. It hurts humanity, because in doing so, we're actually just adding to the problem that Michael saw and wanted to change. So, you know, it comes to the point where I've asked myself, have we really heard his message? Did we take it in and try to live it? You know, or are we just hanging on, espousing words that have really no real no meaning behind them? And I think that has to change. You know, we have to listen to the message that he kept talking about, and we have to actually do it. We have to remove the hate from our hearts, because the hate is toxic, and it spreads. It spreads throughout the fan community. You know, it's like a while ago I posted a video that someone had shared with me. It was a really beautiful video, and it was where it started with one person doing something kind for another person, and then that person, having had something kind done for them, turned around and helped the next person, and it just sort of had a domino effect to where each, you know, as each person kept showing kindness and love to another person, it made that person feel loved and cared about, and they went out and did that to the next person. And that's what needs to happen. That's if we do that, it makes a huge difference. And that's why I spoke about the power of words as well as actions in a note that I wrote recently, because, you know, words are so powerful. That's why the Bible says that the life and death is in the power of the tongue, because what we say to one another and about one another has a profound effect. So if we're saying negative words, you know, slandering words against somebody, whether we say it to their face or about them in another, you know, in another forum, it doesn't matter. It's detrimental, and it doesn't only hurt the person that is being lied about, it hurts the people that are doing it. Because when you're constantly speaking negative, that's what you become. I mean, Michael said that in his own quote as well. You know, what you think, you become. If you are thinking always negative, slandering other people. We're going to get this person. We're going to say this. We're going to find this out. We're going to, whatever. And your focus is constantly on this negative, where you're concentrating on the negative like that. That's what you become. You become a negative, angry person who everything that anger starts to surround you, and it starts to permeate through everybody that you are coming in contact with, whether it be online or in your everyday real life. Same thing happens if you spread love and kindness. That will permeate to all those around you. So my question is, what do you want? What do you want to do? Do you want to permeate and spread anger and hatred and unrest? Or do you want to spread love, kindness, giving to other people, caring about each other? Michael chose the latter. That's what he chose. He chose loving, giving. He chose it in his words, and he chose it in his actions. And that's, one of the purposes of my being here on this page is to continue that message, because to me the message is the most important thing that he gave us. He gave us beautiful music. He gave us amazing dance. His talents were just otherworldly. He was a genius. And I appreciate every part of him in regards to that. But what we have is that all of that pales in comparison to what he stood for, what his message was. This is why he suffered. He suffered for that message, because it's not an easy message to put out there. So we have to take that and look at his message and say, okay, how are we going to make that happen? Because that would be the greatest tribute to his legacy that there is to take that message and have people actually see us living it. And on that note, I think I'm going to end this, and I hope you all see where I'm coming from. I hope you understand. As far as this site goes, or this page, the site will remain. As far as this page goes, I will have to see. I will have to see what, as I said, the negativity in the community is a definite downer. It weighs on people heavily, especially people that are involved in the community, and not just myself. I mean, this is something that a lot of people have noticed and commented on and spoken with me about. And I think, that needs to change, and hopefully it will. And I will still, at this point, have this page up, but I will definitely be spending a lot less time here. And we'll see where it goes from there. So thank you all for listening, and I appreciate it greatly. And I will see you all soon.